all. In this video we are going to discuss about microservices service principles. Basically these are the mentioned microservice principles, so we will just discuss about one by one. So the first microservice principle is basically a single responsibility principle. So what does it means? Uh, Single responsibility principles suggest that a particular unit in our application or a class or a method, or in case of microservices uh, should have a single responsibility at any point of time. So if we make a product related microservices, then it will provide only a detail of a product, or it will have operations related to the product only, not related to the any user or any other domain related objects. So the first principle is single responsibility principle. That means a microservices should have a single responsibility at any point of time. So now the second principle is build around business capabilities. So each and every microservices should be built around some business functionalities or business capabilities. That means um, any microservice should not be purely dependent upon a particular language or a particular uh, DB or anything. It should be a flexible around their business capabilities. If business required to change that particular microservice, or develop a microservice into any other language, it should be flexible to develop that particular microservices or a particular microservice into that particular language and that particular DB. So there might be some business requirement that a particular microservice need to be developed in a Python. Then microservice should be flexible enough to develop into that particular microservice into a Python language. Now the third principle is design for a failure. Every microservices should have some functionality or should have some handling of their failures. Each microservice work as a single entity. That means having a single responsibility. So if at any point of time, if the that particular microservice fails due to some reason, what would be the appropriate feedback, or what would be the appropriate response that particular microservice will provide in that case, or how the behavior of a microservices once the service failed. So these things we need to be managed into a microservices. Then there is an independent and autonomous service. So as we have already seen in previous videos, we will talk about that each and every microservices are working independently. So the development, deployment, scalability and updation, all we can do independently for that particular microservice. And autonomous is kind of each microservice should have their own server port. It will run on a particular port. It will point to a particular DB instance. So each and everything is separated or autonomous for their particular microservice. Now the another principle is scalability. So as we have already seen in advantages and introduction videos, scalability means suppose a particular microservice is used by the users most. In suppose we have one application where the 5 to 10 microservices are working, and out of these 10 microservices, 2 microservices are using most of the time, or having a traffic most at particular time interval. So at that particular time, these two services need to be scale up. What is the meaning of scale up? Scale up means providing a better performance, or better memory management, or giving a number of instance increases for that, so that the load balancing which happened, and the service will perform better when once the traffic get increased on that particular microservices. So that is scalability. Then the decentralization. Basically, we have seen that in a monolithic architecture, each and every module are tightly coupled and bounded to be as a single application and work. But in case of microservices, we are segregating those modules or those domains into a different microservices. So actually we are doing the decentralization of their services. Suppose one services is running on some other port, and other service is running on some other server and port, and so we are just decentralizing those services in that way. It is not deployed, or it is not working on a particular server, or as a single application. So each and every microservice are work independently, run independently on the server. So the real-time load balancing and availability. The scalability and real-time load balancing and availability is interrelated things. Scalability means we are scaling up the resources at that particular time, and also the load balancing means suppose there is a one microservice that is deployed on two different regions. One server having in Mumbai and another server having in US. The same service is deployed on these two servers. One is in Mumbai and another is in US. And while user calling that particular microservice at particular time, suppose the traffic is increased. So for user, the availability and the response time won't get increased. The real-time load balancing will comes into a picture, where the load balancer will decide on which server this particular upcoming request will need to be processed, either for a Mumbai server or for a US server. So in that way the load balancing will happen. There would be a load balancer work at that time, and at real time, that means once the traffic get increased, it will decided that on which server it need to be service need to be processed. And the availability of a server, suppose there are the microservice is deployed on two different regions on two different server, and due to some region Mumbai server got failed or Mumbai server got down. So in that case load balancer will decide all the service. If the Mumbai server got down, the request is going to the US server to process. So the availability of a microservice get increased. As a whole, the application availability got increased, because in a particular application, suppose 10 microservices are there, and one of the microservices are down, but still 9 microservices are working fine. So as per user point of view, most of the things are working for that particular application. So in that way the microservices are working. The another principle is that continuous delivery using DevOps integration. So in case of microservice architecture, when we are developing a microservices, there are rapid changes or modifications happened, and accordingly we need to be do the testing, and also the build and the deployment and delivery is going on. So there is a continuous changes, develop and deploy and delivery process is going on, that will be done by the DevOps integration. So there are different tools using for that, like Jenkins. So Jenkins is basically a DevOps integration tool, CI/CD tool, which will provide different plugins to work for that. So in using Jenkins, we can build our application, our microservice, and the deployment is going on different environments. So these are the basic principles which are used by the microservices: single responsibility, bound around business capabilities, design for failure, independent and autonomous services, scalability, centralization, the real-time load balancing and availability, and a continuous delivery using DevOps. So that's it for this video. In next video we are going to be discuss about the design patterns used in a microservices. And thank you for watching this video. If you like this, please subscribe my channel.